Hey guys, today I want to show you a step-by-step process on how to replace the radiator in your 5th generation V6 Ford Mustang. Now the 5th generation Mustang are all models that were built between 2005 and 2014. In 2010, Ford gave the 5th generation Mustang a facelift. So all vehicles from 2010 to 2014, which is what I have, look a little bit different. However, mechanically, they should all still be the same, and you still should be able to use this video. While it would have made things a lot easier, I didn't use any special tools for this repair. In fact, the tools that I did use, you or your neighbor probably already have. And lastly, safety always first. In this video, I was super pissed that I had to change the radiator. I was kind of rushing through things and I didn't use jack stands. That's my explanation, but it's not an excuse. Whenever you're working on a vehicle elevated, always use jack stands. Enjoy the video, guys. I hope it helps you. And of course, for safety, whenever you're working under the hood of a vehicle, make sure you unhook the battery just for safety. There are 3 small pins that clip right here, and right here. There are a few more, like 4 or 5 bigger pins that go right here, here, and here, and here. Now that I have the plastic covering off, first thing I'm going to do is remove this coolant tank from here. There's just 2 bolts that are right here and right here. These are 10mm bolts. All right, once you've got your coolant reservoir unbolted from here and here, it's pretty loose. You should be able to move it around pretty easily. In fact, it sits on top of the fan for the radiator via this little tab that just sits right in there. And it's still connected to the vehicle by hoses here, and then also the main one under here. Now, I've seen some YouTube saying that you can unattach all of these to get it out of the way. I'm going to see if I can do this without detaching all of them. The only thing I will detach is right here, just using some channel locks, squeezing it. Let's see if it works, just like this, and then just shimmying it off of that nipple. All right, as you can see, I've taken the hose off of the top of this coolant reservoir. Next thing we're going to do is remove this hose from the radiator. Now, there are also braces here that hold the radiator in place. We're not going to take those off yet because while we're shimming this this hose off, it's going to give some stability, so it'll be a little bit easier to work with. All right, so I've just taken off this hose. Now, even though this vehicle has leaked almost all of its coolant out, there is still coolant in the cooling system, and so don't be alarmed if coolant still spills out of this hose here. Just kind of flip it up and out of your way, and you've got one side clear. Now, next thing we're going to do, we're going to work on the brackets for the radiator. These are they are still 10mm, so let's get these off. Once you get these braces untightened, they actually pop right off. So set that there. Let's see if I can show you guys this one. Nope. Come on. There we go. So if you can get this coolant tank out of your way, the next thing you need to do is disconnect the electrical components for the fan from the vehicle, and that is this part right down here. It's not this clip right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. It's not this clip because this is actually to the part, and you don't need to unclip from the fan down there. It's just this gray piece. This one is black, this one is gray. There's a tab on the inside of it. Let's see if I can go in there. There's a tab. Let me zoom out. There's a tab right here. Just kind of stick a flathead screwdriver there and pull it straight back, and it will disconnect. Okay, now that we have this electrical component unplugged, we're going to start working on the other side. And this is a little bit less room to work in. So the first thing we need to do is to move this air intake manifold off of the front of the vehicle. And it's a little bit harder to pull it back because there's actually this little there's this little screw with a hole in it, kind of just holding it in so it doesn't shake. And you can't pull it back because it doesn't come out far enough. So the thing you're going to have to do is to move this whole manifold backwards to get in there. Easiest way to do that is just take a flathead screwdriver, slide it right. That's it, I get in there. Slide it right under here, pry it forward, and then move the whole thing backwards, and that'll pop it right out. Once you've got it out, it's going to kind of look like this. I wasn't able to get it like, you know, off to the side or anything like that, but it's no longer in the little brace anymore. So next I'm going to take off this hose that we had connected to the top of the coolant tank, because our new radiator is not going to come with this hose, so we're going to have to reuse this. So we're going to take this off, just set it to the side. The next thing I'm going to do is detach the fan from the radiator. That's done by the first bolt, which is right here. What I'm going to do is to take this nut off this bolt that connects the radiator to the fan. This nut is 10 millimeters, so you can either get a 10 millimeter wrench, or you can just get a socket and slide it up under here to unloosen this. Alright, next thing we want to do is jack up the vehicle so that we can drain the bottom of the radiator. I've got just a regular little jack. If you've got a really if you're smart, you'll get a hydraulic jack, but just got that regular one. I've got this bucket under here to catch the coolant, and here is our nozzle right here where the coolant will drain out. So I'm just going to take some channel locks and latch this. It'll drain right into the bucket here. Looks like the car's ping. It also comes out of this little nozzle here too, so mainly this bottom one. Alright, so while this thing is draining, because apparently it takes forever, we're going to continue unlatching the bottom supports for the fan. So that's going to be right, where did it go? Right here. Right here. We're looking under the vehicle, behind the radiator. This is the fan, and here's the mount. Right there. I believe that is a 10 millimeter. Now that the radiator is pretty much done draining from that side, we're going to open up the unhook the last hose from the bottom of the radiator on the other side of the vehicle. It's down there. If you're looking at the vehicle, you're going to come over and you'll see it right down there, that big one right there. This one I think is going to be easier maybe to do from the bottom, so let's give it a try. So if you're able to disconnect the hose from down at the bottom here, that's great. I actually was not able to because the clamps are just at a really weird angle, so there wasn't enough leverage for me to hold the channel locks closed and pull that hose. And since the car is actually right now jacked up, that would have been really dangerous. So what I did was just disconnect the hose from the engine itself. I'm going to pull the whole thing out of here, and then we'll transfer this hose into the new radiator. So now once you've got this off of here, the radiator fan pulls right out. Pretty simple. Next thing you have to do is take off the radiator itself, and of course that's another fucking mission. There are brackets, looks like 4 of them right there, and there's one below it which you'll have to go under the vehicle to get it. So that's 2, and there's 3. It's this one right there, and there's one on below it as well. We have to take those out because this is the actual front of the radiator, not this piece in front of it. So we want to detach these 2 units. then the radiator hopefully will come out. Now I didn't want to take off this air manifold, but there's really just not enough space to work with in here to get to this bracket that's back there. So I've got to remove this. So I saw online a lot of people were removing it. I thought I could get around it, but clearly you cannot. So to take this off, you're going to need a 10 millimeter, of course. We'll start from here, and it's pretty simple disassembly. So this is what it looks like when it's all taken apart. It's a two-piece part. This is the middle. Here's your exhaust manifold, and this is where it inserts into. And now you've got all this room to work with. A lot easier, hopefully. I pray. So once you've got the 4 braces that hold the radiator directly to the vehicle, that's going to be 1, 2 at the bottom, 1 and 2 at the bottom. You're going to lift it up. You're going to see that it's still pretty much connected to the second piece on the inside by 1 bolt on each side. And the bottom of it, pretty much, if you can see, just slides into once it's set in place. This is a hopefully last part that needs to be taken out. This is the piece that connects to those middle brackets, and those 4 posts mount to this. So I'm just going to leave this kind of maybe sitting up here, and then I'm going to go buy a new radiator. Oh, by the way, I did have to take out this coolant reservoir because it was just in the way, and just give me more room to work. It's a lot of space down in there. There's a new radiator. So once you get it out of the box, it's kind of hard to tell which side is up and what's forwards or backwards. What you want to do is remember how the coolant drained out of the car, and make sure that that plug is upside down. And the plug on this side, see right down here, right here. So this side is the bottom, and so this unscrews, and that's where your coolant will drain out. So this one will actually fit into the vehicle just like this. Plugs on the bottom side there, and that's how it will drain out. So this is front, this is back. Hey guys, just got the alright, so I just got the radiator set in its mounting post right down there, and then another right there. I put the radiator on with this hose, this lower hose, already attached because it's too hard to try to shimmy it on while it's on the vehicle. So I put that on. It's flexible, so it moves around. Now the only next thing we have to do is to attach this intercooler system here to the back of the radiator, this inner and outer cooling system. So let's do that next. This, because of the grading of the radiator, it gives you a lot of bloody knuckles, but it's got to be done. Or just wear gloves. Don't be like me. Wear gloves. Hey guys, here's a quick tip. It's easier to reach the that intercooler bolt to the radiator. It's easier to screw that in from the bottom. So make sure your vehicle is jacked up. I don't have it done on this side yet, but make sure that you do it from the bottom, because it's a really tight squeeze doing it from the top. Well guys, that's pretty much it. I promise you, everything goes back into the car way easier than it did coming out. If you'll just watch everything in reverse, you'll have the car up and running in no time at all. One last tip, remember to rinse out your coolant reservoir. You don't want there to be any debris before you put in the new coolant. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe. I've got more videos coming. Thanks.